We survived 300 days in hardcore Minecraft. This isn't a normal 300 days video, this is duo 300 days. This means if either one of us dies, we have to start again. Will we both be able to survive until the end of the 300 days? Keep watching to find out. But first, if you haven't already seen 100 and 200 days of duo hardcore Minecraft, you can watch them both in the playlist above and then come back to this video. Anyways, for 300 days, we had 3 main goals. Our first goal was to find and defeat a woodland mansion. Our second goal was to complete all the achievements in the game. And our third goal was to take on and defeat an ocean monument. With these goals in mind, let's get straight into day 201. So, day 201 was here, and we decided to start it off by saying hi to our villagers. We then decided to give our zombie villager some amazing presents for being such a good boy. And of course, we said hi to Mark and gave him a fire resistance potion. Then I visited my dogs and they were really happy to see me. So I made them make baby dogs and then took them for a swim. And this is when I realized that I didn't really know how to swim properly. And to finish off the first day of these 100 days, I let Mark loose on some llamas. We spent day 202 farming on melons, pumpkins and sugarcane and then trading them for emeralds. You may be wondering, why do we need emeralds? And the answer to that is, we didn't. We were just so used to doing it from 200 days that it became a habit. The next day, we realized we were running low on totems of undying. So we decided we should get prepared to do another raid. And to make sure we didn't die in the raid, we needed a lot of gapples. So we went mining for gold. And of course, the best place to do this was in the nether. So we spent the rest of the day stealing from the piglins. Day 204 was filled with more prep for the raid. We crafted up some nice golden apples and made sure we had plenty of potions. I also gave Mark a lot of steak just in case I died and I wouldn't be back to feed him. Day 205 was here and we were prepared to risk our lives for some totems. So we kissed our sheep goodbye and started flying towards the pillager outpost. We flew over thousands of blocks for what felt like an eternity. But we finally arrived at the pillager outpost. Then we proceeded to murder an entire family of pillagers. I also managed to free a golem, and he joined in on the fun too. We then flew to the nearest village and started the raid. We took on wave after wave, killing all the opponents that the game threw at us. It was really hard, and at one point GamerZ nearly died, but he managed to pull through. But somehow, after all our hard work, we had been defeated by the raid, and we had failed. We don't know how this happened, but we think the final villager got killed. So we took ourselves to bed in defeat, with only a few totems to our name. But we were determined to get some more totems. So the next day we headed back to the pillager outpost and got ourselves another bad omen effect. We then tried our luck at another village and started a raid there. We were easily able to dismantle the first 3 waves, but the 4th wave didn't spawn in. We spent most of the night of day 206 looking for this wave, but we couldn't find it anywhere. We were very annoyed as we wanted some more totems, but we decided to call it quits with the few totems each that we had managed to get. And so on day 207, we decided it was time to go home. So we traveled to the end portal and jumped through it. But this took us back to the other snow village, where we had slept the previous night. This was quite annoying, but to fix it, I broke the beds and then we decided to go back to the end portal and jump through it. This would take us to Spawn Island, which was a lot closer to our base than the snow village. And by the time I got there, GamerZ was waiting for me with a boat. And when the moon was in the sky, we were tucked safely away in bed. On day 208, we were both in quite good moods. So I decided to give a turtle one of my golden carrots. But I was disgusted to find the ungrateful turtle hadn't even eaten it when I came back to him later on that day. So I decided to not give him any more carrots for the rest of these 100 days. We then kinda wasted the rest of the day trying to pearl onto the top of the mob farm, because we needed some gunpowder to get rockets, and without rockets we couldn't get up there, so this was our only way. After a while of trying, we realized we were playing Minecraft, and we could actually just mine through it and then build up to the top. Yeah, we're very smart. We then decided to not waste this opportunity and spend all of day 209 AFKing at the mob farm to get a bunch of gunpowder. On the morning of day 210, we flew down to see how much gunpowder we had got. But we were ambushed by some random zombies holding bones as weapons. This was quite scary as you don't see too many zombies using bones as weapons in Minecraft. But we were able to kill them and then check out our gunpowder. We had managed to get a lot of gunpowder, so we crafted up some rockets and then flew back to our base. Then I put Unbreaking 3 on my shovel, and with this I began demolishing the natural landscape so we could build some houses on it. Day 211 was here, and we had an idea that we were going to do a build-off. And you guys will be able to vote in the comments for which one you think is better. And to do this, of course, we need a lot of resources, so we set out to mine an entire chunk of stone. The next day, we realized we were rich on stone, but poor on wood. So we decided to go and collect some wood. We then both started work on the layout of our houses, and I did another spot of terraforming. Day 213 was spent continuing with building, but I also got savagely attacked by this pillager, so I did what anyone would do and bury him alive. The next day was filled with more building stuff. And on day 215, we turned our focus onto our goal of defeating a woodland mansion. For this, we would need a cartographer to sell us a woodland explorer map, so we could find the woodland mansion. And by day 216, we had got the trade we needed. And I celebrated by shooting GamerZ with arrows, as you can see, and also making some emeralds fly. Day 217 was our day to prepare for the woodland mansion. We crafted up some rockets and potions and traded for the map. And by day 218, we were ready to leave. So we set off not really knowing what to expect, as neither of us had done a woodland mansion before. We flew all day and all night, in the direction that the map told us to go. And on the morning of day 219, there it was, the woodland mansion. We were very nervous when we could see the hordes of Vindicators that were occupying the corridors, but we decided to stay focused. We fought our way through hundreds of mobs and countless rooms, and all along the way looting for all the resources that we could carry. We managed to get our hands on a few totems and even a music disc, but this came at a cost. At some point whilst exploring the mansion, GamerZ nearly died. This made us realize that this was hardcore Minecraft, and if we died, we would not be able to respawn. So after exploring all of the woodland mansion, we were happy to leave it, and to tick it off our goals. We then made a nether portal to fly back because we've got huge brains, and spent all of day 220 flying back through the nether. If you want to see 400 days, get this video to 100,000 likes. This means that we need every single one of you guys to hit the like button if you want to see 400 days. But anyways, let's get straight back into the video. When we returned home, we spent a day unpacking all of our items that we had gathered. I also found some time to murder all the cows and only leave the children alive. I then fed their parents to the orphan cows and went to bed. The next 2 days were spent working on our houses. And on day 223, I realized I needed some glass for windows. So it was time to demolish the turtle's island even more. At this point, the turtle was so fed up about it that he didn't even care anymore. And he let me go without a fight. This was also the day I did an epic prank on GamerZ with the glass. On day 224, our houses were coming together. I added the windows to my house and I thought they looked pretty good. I also accidentally started a raid, and GamerZ was too busy building to help me, so it looks like I was going to have to take on this one alone. I was more than prepared though, because I had the home advantage. I was flying around with my elytra, raining arrows down on them from above. There was nothing they could do about it. And by day 225, the raid was almost over. I just had one last wave to go. But this wave was full of evokers, and they summoned these little flying babies to come and kill me, and they were very nearly successful. But with some timing, I managed to kill them too and take care of the rest of the wave. The next 2 days were spent putting the finishing touches on our houses, and then on day 228 we showed each other our houses. Let us know in the comments which house you think is better. Day 229 was a simple day. It started with some melon farming, then I made the sheep naked, and began an experiment on Jeb. I wanted to see if he would regrow his multicolored wool or if he would be naked forever. Day 230 was filled with more declothing sheep, and we decided to start working on an archery range. Also, just a little update, Jeb had not grown his wool back yet. On day 231, Jeb's wool regrew, and I celebrated by killing a cow. On day 232, we finished setting up the archery range. Gamers used some redstone so that if we hit the archery block in the middle of the block, it would light up 2 redstone lanterns instead of just 1 if we hit it anywhere else. This would be extremely useful for our archery contest tomorrow. The next day, it was time for the archery contest, and I think the pressure got to me. On the 10-meter line, I went first and managed to get a respectable score of 19. But it wasn't good enough because GamerZ got a perfect score of 20 out of 20. This means he hit the center of every single block. For both the 20-meter line and the 30-meter line, I continued this trend of underperforming, and GamerZ managed to beat me in all of them. I was not very happy with this, but congratulations to GamerZ. On day 234, we turned our focus to the achievements. We decided to go for the bullseye achievement, which you need to hit the bullseye of a target block from 30 meters away. Surprisingly, GamerZ managed to do it really fast, but I just couldn't seem to do it. I shot stacks of arrows and still couldn't do it. But eventually, on day 235, I managed to do it in the most skillful way possible. We wanted to complete the Trident achievements, so we spent the next 2 days scouring the seas for drowns with tridents and trying to get their trident. But we had little to no luck and weren't able to get our hands on a trident. However, I did make a bridge for some trapped pigs, so it wasn't all bad. The next day we spent mining for iron and then completing the Hired Help achievement. Now our villagers could rest easy. Day 239 was the day of crossbow achievements. We shot each other and then planned to fly to the pillager outpost to give a pillager a taste of their own medicine. Along the way, I stopped to give a polar bear some potatoes, but he didn't like them and ran away. I then killed a baby rabbit out of anger. Later on that day, I completed the Who's the Pillager Now achievement whilst being chased by a horde of angry mobs. We then repaired our tools and armor at the Enderman farm. I spent the entirety of day 240 mining a stack of obsidian. The next day I used the obsidian to make a giant nether portal in the nether. This was so I could try and get a ghast into the overworld to get another achievement. I spent this entire day trying to fish a ghast into the nether portal, but with no success. On day 242, we realized we were out of rockets, so we went AFK at the mob farm. Day 243 started off by me being attacked by a baby zombie on a chicken, but we soon took care of that. We now had plenty of rockets, and I spent the rest of the day failing to get a ghast anywhere near the portal. Oh, and I also nearly died. That was pretty scary too. Whilst I had been wasting my time ghast fishing, GamerZ had been busy making a bee sanctuary. This allowed me to get the Be Our Guest achievement. Also, this tiny bee really liked the windowsill. Then at night, we attempted to get the 2 birds and 1 stone achievement, where you use a piercing crossbow to kill 2 phantoms with 1 arrow. But we didn't manage to do it. Day 245 was a productive day for achievements. I decided to give up on ghast fishing, and we both managed to get the Sticky Situation achievement, in which you stick to a honey block to avoid fall damage. And then finally, after many dead phantoms, I managed to get the 2 birds and 1 stone achievement, and then GamerZ did soon after. We were very happy about this. Day 246 was here, and we decided it was time to get the Tactical Fishing achievement. To do this, I scooped up a little fish in my bucket. Then we decided we should build an aquarium. So I used the bucket of fish to clear out some grass, and we got to work. We finished the aquarium and then put our fish in. I think they were having a good time. But then out of nowhere, my little fish was murdered by GamerZ fish. I was not very happy with this. The next day, we sheared some sheep for an upcoming project. And whilst I was trying to shoot GamerZ, a sheep got caught in the crossfire and was killed. Oops. And then later on, I killed GamerZ fish for revenge. But sadly, he killed one of my dogs in return. Then on day 248, we got some new fish. An iron golem turned into a windmill and then stared me down. And then I worked on making some banners for our new project, and GamerZ set out building it. See if you can guess what it's gonna be. Also guys, only 5% of you are actually subscribed, so if you do enjoy this video, then please consider subscribing. It would mean a lot to me. But anyways, back to the video. Day 249 and day 250 were both spent working on the project. And on day 251, it was finally ready. And yes, we did build a plane dropping a like bomb to remind you to do the same. And after dropping a like bomb on these turtles, I decided to drop a real bomb on them. The next day, GamerZ built some graves for the turtles, and I spent the day breeding my dogs. Day 253 was a day of murdering cows and trying to put a turtle on a lead. It didn't work and it made me very sad. As well as looking at all the achievements we had left to do. The next day I was very bored, so I decided to practice speed bridging on another island. Then I punched GamerZ and casually burned some villagers to death. But afterwards, I traded some carrots. I forgot to say that when I tried to get the bullseye achievement earlier, my bow from the first 100 days broke. I was very upset, so on day 255, I managed to get myself a new Power 5 bow. I was really excited about this, and I accidentally wasted 2 totems of Undying. One by shooting GamerZ, and the second by crashing into the floor. The day ended off by me seeing the Iron Golem being a bit weird again. On day 256, we set out to do some nether achievements. We got the This Boat Has Legs achievement by riding one of these things. I then went AFK for a few minutes and came back to find GamerZ had made a lot of friends. Then I finished off the day by getting the Old Shiny achievement by distracting a piglin with some gold. Oh, and we also brought our friends back to the overworld. We then spent the next 3 days AFK at the mob farm to get a lot of gunpowder. Day 260 was spent getting a lot of paper and crafting up a bunch of rockets. On day 261, we had an idea to build a house that would contain a map of our entire area. So for the next few days, we set about doing this. We brought a bunch of maps from our villager and started to fill them in. I then continued this process while GamerZ was building the actual building. And by day 265, the map house was complete. Our area looked beautiful. This beauty came at a cost, because the previous night was a dangerous thunderstorm, and many mobs tried to end our lives. I took refuge in my house, but they broke in, and I had to defend myself. The footage was too graphic to be shown. After the storm, we realized we had a bit of a lighting issue, so we went mining for coal. And let's just say it was very successful. I managed to get very lucky, and in 2 days of mining, I found 34 diamond ore. So I let GamerZ mine it up with his Fortune 3 pickaxe to give me an entire stack of diamonds. Oh, and we also got a lot of coal. We then spent the remainder of 268 and all of 269 lighting up our area. Also, during this time, I spotted a turtle paying its respects. And I gave some turtles some torches. But I gave more to one than the other. Day 270 was here, and we turned our focus to another one of our goals, defeating a water monument. So we spent all of today preparing for it. We traded for an Ocean Explorer map, we made sure we had plenty of rockets, and we also brewed up some water breathing potions. These would come in very useful. And so on day 271, we left to go to the Ocean Monument. And we were surprised to find out that it was literally right next to our base. So we equipped our chest plates and drank our water breathing potions and then headed in. There were guardians everywhere, but we knew as long as we kept moving, we would be fine. However, the sheer amount of guardians were able to overwhelm GamerZ and make him lose his totem. This was very scary and had me questioning if this was the end of this series. But after a day of battling, we managed to take out all 3 Elder Guardians. We then raided the Ocean Monument for all the valuables we could find, and quickly left before we got killed by the Guardians. We were very happy to tick another goal off our list. The next few days were very simple, enjoyable days. They were spent melon farming, doing a spot of creeper sniping, and constructing a huge melon and pumpkin pile, just as a little flex. And on day 274, we were fed up with the gaps in our melon farm. So naturally, we went netherite mining. and return on day 275 to make our netherite hose. We got the serious dedication achievement, and then the random spots of dirt stood no chance against us. On day 276 we did the respawn anchor achievement, and then we had a look at all the achievements we had left to do. On day 277, we decided to do the achievement Country Load Take Me Home. And for this, we needed netherite, so it was back to netherite mining for us. We finally got it and placed it under our campfire, and now we would never get lost again. And for the rest of the day, we played a nice little game of hide and seek. The next day, we set our sights on doing the achievement where you eat every edible item in the game. So we began collecting 2 of every item. And after a few days of hard work, we had managed to collect every single food item except from the enchanted golden apple. So the next day, we set out looking for some. We looked in mine shafts, desert temples, and even ruined portals. And in total, we spent 3 days looking for enchanted golden apples. And then on day 282, I managed to find myself an enchanted golden apple. I was really happy with myself. But GamerZ wasn't having a good day. In fact, he had been flying around so much that his elytra actually broke and he had to swim home. We continued looking for another day, but we couldn't find another enchanted golden apple. So we made the hard decision to give up. The next day was spent eating every single food item we could possibly get. And when I ate the enchanted golden apple, I completed the balanced diet achievement. On day 285, we prepared to complete all the end achievements. This involved collecting some gas tiers so we could make end crystals, which we could use to respawn the dragon. In the next 2 days, we got the End Again achievement by respawning the dragon. I then killed the dragon and got the Free the End achievement. And then after a few attempts, I managed to get the Great View from Up Here achievement, where you have to levitate up 50 blocks from the attacks of a shulker. That was definitely the hardest one. We then returned home feeling accomplished after defeating all the End achievements. The next day, it was time to have some fun, so we decided to build a flying course. And by day 289, it was finished. And we spent the day flying around it. Then on day 290, Jev escaped somehow. We didn't really know how, but we didn't question it. We managed to get most of the achievements done, but sadly not all of them. So that could be a goal for 400 days. But anyways, let's get into the last 10 days. We then spent the next 9 days gathering flowers for dye, AFKing for gunpowder, and rewiring our redstone to make this awesome fireworks display. Enjoy! We had survived 300 days in hardcore Minecraft. This video took over 50 hours to make, so if you enjoyed, please remember to like and sub, and go and check out GamerZ's perspective because he included a lot of different things that I didn't put in this video. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, see you next time, and goodbye.